Welcome to Amazing Trails Yoga. Today we are at Cascade Lake Loop Trail, and this lake is a 5-acre man-made reservoir, and it's used for a lot of things. People are having a little party back there, and some dogs are swimming, so it's really a lot of fun. The trail leads to Prospect Rock, which is the highest point of the Appalachian Trail in New York State. So that's really cool. You have to leave the Lake Loop Trail, but it goes on for a couple other switches, and it'll lead to the tallest part. So we're striving for the stars, as this is Bicycle Prep Part B. And we did Part A, which was focusing on the leg muscles, the glutes, the quads, the shins, the calves, and the ankles, and today we are focusing on the arms because we really need to use the arms when we bicycle. I know when I go up hills a lot, my shoulders might get sore, my arms were really gripping, and so we're focusing on the arms and the legs, of course, all in one. So today we'll start in a Sukasana, easy pose, a cross-legged position, and your hips are nice on the mat. Your shoulders are directly above the hips. There's some space between your earlobes and your shoulders. Your chin is up, navel to the spine, your palms to your knees. And we'll take a nice breath in and out. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We'll inhale, our fingers interlace them, put them together in palms facing forward and up, and exhale to the right. Inhale your left palm to your right knee and take your right arm back. Tense your fingers behind you and breathe looking back. Inhale your right arm up and over to your left knee, and exhale your arms entwined into eagle wrap. Inhale your arms up, your elbows up, and exhale down. Inhale, coming up into easy pose, and exhale. Inhale, interlacing your fingers. We'll inhale our palms forward and up. Exhale to the left. Inhale your right hand to your knee and bring your left arm behind you. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale your left arm up and around, touching your knee, and exhale your arms together in eagle wrap. Inhale your elbows up, opening up your shoulders, and exhale down. Unwinding, inhale up into Sukasana, and exhale. Inhale, interlacing your fingers, palms forward and up. Exhale, leaning to the right. Inhale your left arm to your knee and your right arm back. Exhale, looking behind you. Inhale your right arm up and over, touching your knee. Exhale, eagle wrapping your arms. Inhale your elbows up. Exhale down. Inhale, coming in Sukasana, and exhale. One more time on the left. We inhale, our fingers interlacing, palms forward and up. Exhale to the left. Inhale your right hand to your left knee and your left arm behind you. And exhale, looking over your shoulder. Inhale your left arm up and over to your right knee. And exhale into eagle wrap. Inhale your elbows up and exhale down. Inhale, coming into Sukasana and exhale. We'll start warming up our wrists. So we're going to extend our arms and push our fingers and our hands away. Just warming up our hands and our arms, stretching. We're pushing away, pushing away, pushing away. Now we're going to pull back because we grip those handlebars on the bikes all the time. There we go. Now forward, we're pushing our fingers out, opening up and pushing out. And now we're pulling in with the handlebars. These dogs are swimming right next to us. It's really a lot of fun watching them. And up, we're opening up our fingers up to the sky. And pulling down. And we'll interlace our fingers again and go in for this stretch. And this time take your right hand forward. With your left hand, you could pull your fingers back a bit, opening up your wrist. And now facing your fingers down toward the earth. With your left hand, you could pull back gently. We don't want to hurt ourselves, but this is a very good stretch for our wrists. We use our wrists a lot on the bicycle without even realizing it. Our brakes are even being powered by our hands, not our feet anymore. And take your left hand palm facing away from you. Take your right hand and you can pull back your fingers. Nice stretch on your wrists. And back a little bit. And the other way, your fingers are facing down and we're just pulling gently. Nice opening for the wrists. Very nice. We could just twist our hands around. And let's make our way to tabletop. So with our fingers spread, they're facing the front of the mat. We're coming onto our hands and knees. Our fingers are facing that way, or to the front, like I said. The wrists are under the elbows, under the shoulders. Our knees are hip-width distance apart. If we look through our thighs, you shouldn't be able to see your feet. And we'll flex our spine, so we'll come into cat-cow. Curl over your toes and inhale up. To the inhale, our udders are coming down, full of milk, heavy, heavy to the mat. Exhale into cat, looking as large as we can. Inhale up into cow, making our spine very flexible. Exhale down. Inhale, flexing over our feet. And exhaling on the top of our feet, sucking our navel into our spine. And coming into a flat back. Take your right leg and extend it out to the back and give yourself your Achilles tendon a nice little stretch. And inhale your right leg over to the side, 90-degree angle. Drop your heel. We walk our hands 2 palm prints forward. Our left leg flex over your toes and sit back on your heel. Nice inner stretch for the thigh. We are always multitasking. Nice breath. Take your left hand and draw it close to your shoulder, and we're threading the needle. We're slipping it under our right arm, palm up to the sky, and rest your left ear on the mat, threading the needle. Nice deep breaths. Very lovely. Unthreading the needle, we're going to slide our left arm under us so that it meets your right. We're coming back up into table. Walk your hands back under your shoulders. The top of your foot can touch the mat, and bring your right knee back to where it was under your right shoulder. And we'll extend our left leg on the ball of our foot, give our Achilles tendon a nice stretch. And I might have to move over because we are taking our left leg over to the side, 90 degrees. We'll flex our right foot, walk our hands 2 palm prints in front, and sit back on our heel. And breathe. We'll thread the needle, so draw your right hand back by your right shoulder and slip it under your left arm with the palm facing the sky, and take your right ear to the mat. Inhale your right arm back, out from under you. Have it meet your left. Coming back into table. So come to the top of your foot, walk your hands back, and take your left knee under your shoulder. Back into tabletop. With this, we will curl our toes under, and we're sitting back into toes pose. So your toes are facing the front of the mat, not out to the side. This is really good for your feet, which again on your bicycle, this is not just for arms. You use your feet on the pedals a lot. We pedal. It's really good to stretch our feet, stretch our toes. So take your right hand and put it to your left hip, and we're bringing our right arm up and around as close to our body as we can. Up and around, opening up our shoulders. Up and around, and we'll go the other direction. Up and around. Up and around. Up and around. Very nice. And take your right arm and put it, I'll face you so you can see, put it across your body. Your left arm comes up and it kind of crosses over, lifts over so that you can pull your right arm closer to your chest. Your left arm is up and kind of pulling at the forearm. A nice stretch to open up your arms. Maybe the cameraman can get the dog in for a minute or two. Are they Ben? So beautiful dogs. And this, I'll turn so you could see what I'm doing. So now take your left hand and put it on your right elbow, your right hand on your left elbow, and put them up over your head. Very nice. Take your right arm, pat your back, your left arm up, and you could put your palm facing behind you so that your thumb is down, and we're bending at the left arm, and maybe you can make the bind, maybe you could touch, maybe you could take your strap. If you can't quite reach, which is very good, or just keep patting your back, taking your left hand to your right elbow, and stretch. At that, we will slowly and gently let go. We don't want to boomerang our arms around. And we're coming into a hero's pose for our feet that might be hurting a tiny bit by now. So we go over our feet, spread our feet apart a little bit so that we could sit between our ankles. You can also sit on a mat. So you're at the tops of your feet. This is hero's pose. Or not sit on a mat, sit on a block. You're in hero's pose. If you don't need the block, this is good. This counteracts the stretch on the toes. It's also really good for the bicycling. And now you could take your right leg, your knee is up, and extend it to the front of your mat. Keep your left leg as it is. If this is not comfortable on your left leg, bring it around and you can put the sole of your foot to the inside of your right thigh. Otherwise, you could stay in half hero's pose. Inhale your arms up and exhale forward. And again, any distance from your foot is perfectly fine. You could take blocks, whatever's good for you. Take blocks, rest your forearms on the blocks at any height. Everybody has different flexibility. If you could come all the way down, it's perfectly fine. Otherwise, it makes no difference. And breathe. We'll inhale our way up, putting your palms on the mat. We're coming back into toes pose. So bring your right leg back and you again are on your toes, curled under, facing the front of the mat. And take your right hand to your hip and we'll back stroke our left arm up and around. Try not to move your torso too much, getting your arm as close as can be to your body. Opening up our shoulders and moving the other direction. Very nice. Now take your left arm across your body. Your right arm will come forward and bend up so that it pulls your left arm closer to your chest for the stretch, for a deeper stretch. And for the tricky part, take your left hand to your right elbow, your right hand to your left elbow. Inhale your arms up so that they're over your head. Very nice. Now on this side, take your left hand and pat the back of the back of your neck, which would be like the nape of your neck, so you could pat it. You could stay right here as is. Or take your right arm out to the side, flip your thumb down so that your palm is behind you, and you could bend your right arm and maybe touch your fingers together. Maybe come for the bind. Maybe take the strap. Make it closer for you, or just simply stay up here, patting your back, stretching. It's a really good opener. And coming down. And again, we'll go into hero's pose. So come to the tops of your feet, spread your ankles away from each other, and sit back. You could sit back on the block to bring the ground closer to you, or right down in between your feet. Nice stretch counteracting what we just did on the toes pose. Take your left leg, bring the knee up, and we're extending our left leg out to the top of the mat. You could stay like this in half hero's pose, or take your right foot, and this might be more comfortable, you could bring it to the inside of your left leg if that is more comfortable for you. Whatever works for you. I'm going to come back into the half hero. Inhale your arms up and exhale down. Again, you could use your blocks. Whatever works for you. Stretching the leg, the left leg. You could come down further. And don't forget to breathe. Inhale, coming up. Very nice. We will bend our left knee up toward the sky, and we're coming back into tabletop. Curl under your toes. And you're lifting your knees up, and we're coming into a downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a nice breath. And we will slowly walk our feet to our hands. Again, by all means, use your blocks. And from this, we're coming into chair. So you could bend your knees and inhale your arms up as we are. And come all the way up into Tadasana. We'll inhale back into chair. On the exhale, our palms are facing each other. You're swinging them down. They're still facing each other, clasping behind you at the same time, straightening your legs and bringing the crown of your head to the mat and your arms extended over you. Very nice. Dropping our seat, unhooking our hands and coming back into chair and standing in Tadasana. We'll do that 2 more times. We're inhaling into chair, our palms are facing each other, our seat goes down. Make sure you could look over your knees and see your toes. And we're exhaling, our arms together at the same time, coming behind us, clasping behind us as we're straightening our legs, dropping our heads, and bringing our arms up over our head. A nice breath. And on the inhale, we're dropping our seat, unhooking our hands, coming up into chair and Tadasana. One last time. Bringing our arms up, dropping our seat, our palms are facing each other. They're coming around, still facing each other, clasping behind you. As we straighten our legs, drop our heads, and bring our hands up over our heads. Very nice. And now we're unhooking our hands, dropping our seat, moving our arms up and around into chair and Tadasana. From Tadasana, we'll bring our palms into heart center, and we'll set an intention for the day. And I'm thinking of all those people getting ready for a big bicycle tour, or getting ready to get back on the saddle, back on the bicycles, safe and sound, and just sending out my love and energy to them. And anyone reaching for the stars, this doesn't have to be just about bicycling at all. Anyone reaching for the stars and just taking that extra leap, that extra challenge. Could make our own private intention, sending our love, energy out to whoever, wherever, whatever. And Tadasana. Facing the front of the mat, we'll inhale up back into chair. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. We will inhale our right leg back. And dropping our knee to the floor, we'll inhale our left arm up to the sky. And down. From this, you could pick your knee up, you're straightening your leg, walking your hands around a little bit. Take your toes out to the corner of the mat, our right heel down, and we're coming into Dandasana, which is like a sideways lunge. Really good for biking, opens up our hips, really a lot of fun. And placing your hands on the mat, help yourself nice and slowly over to the other side and bringing your hands to heart center. If your heel does not reach, you could always use a block to help you, or just do what you can. Really have some fun with this. taking your hands to the mat. We're walking our hands around on either side of our right foot as we bring our left heel up, and we are in a lunge position. And inhale your right arm up. And down. Okay, very nice. Take your right foot and bring it back into a plank. Okay, we're coming down into Chaturanga. This strengthens our arms. Over our feet into upward facing dog. And to downward facing dog. Very nice. Take a nice breath. And exhale. Inhale your right foot between your hands. And you're dropping your knee to the mat, coming over the top of your foot, and draw your right arm up and around so that it touches the back of your leg and back. Very nice. We'll do that one more time. We'll make a big circle like when we opened up our arms. And back again. Coming into the sideways lunge. This time, well, we'll start in prayer. This time, take your right hand to the mat. Your right arm is in front of your right knee, and extend your left arm up and out. Very lovely. Bring your left hand down, and we'll walk ourselves over to the other side. Take your left hand out at an angle in front of your left knee. Extend your right arm up. Take a nice breath. We never hold our breath in yoga. Bring your right hand down to the mat. Your left hand on the other side of your foot. Bring your right heel up so that it is nice and straight, and drop your knee to the mat. Extend your right foot, and we will bring our left arm up and around and back. We'll do it one more time. Up and around, touching the back of your right thigh, and around. Very nice. Take your hands on either side of your foot. Go to the tops of the ball of your foot, rather, in the back, your right foot. Sometimes I lose track of left and right. And inhale your left foot back to meet your right. We are in a plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Very nice. Take a nice breath. This time we'll inhale our left leg up to the sky and bring it through to the middle of your hands. And we are dropping our right knee and coming over our foot. Now we bend our right knee, okay, so that our toes are facing up toward the sky. You could tent your hand, maybe you could use your block. And again, take your left hand and make a circle around so that you can connect to your right foot. You could maybe clasp it, pull it in, however way is good for you. You could be using your mat or block, you don't have to be. Very good stretch on your quads. And bringing your foot down. From this, we'll take your left hand to the inside of your right foot. We'll go back on our toes, drop your right heel so that we're in the sideward lunge. And we had started with prayer, and to take your left hand out to diagonally to the left side of your mat. Bring your right arm up, and this time we're going to go in for a bind. So like we did in toes pose, your palm, face your thumb down so that your palm is away from you. You could bend your arm behind you. Take your left arm under your leg, or not under your leg, but on the side of your left leg. Maybe you could touch your hands. If not, that's perfectly fine. Take your right arm and maybe put it in your pocket back there. You could touch your fingers together. Really nice hip opener for that bicycle. And we store a lot of tension in our hips. It's really good to let loose with our hips, open them up, get some of the tension out. And letting go of the bind, we're walking our hands slowly over to the right, getting nice and comfortable in this position. Take our right arm out to the side, diagonally to the side. Inhale your left arm up, palm away from you behind with the thumb in the back. And we'll bend our left arm and bring it behind us. You could put it maybe in the crease where your right leg is, in the thigh, in the pocket if you want to be a little risky. Take your right arm. It's still in front of your right knee and bring it behind and maybe feel for that hand. See if you could touch your fingers. Maybe you can make a bind. I find this pose really comfortable. And breathe. Letting go of your fingers, bringing our left arm around, making a lunge. With your left foot should be back, you drop your left knee to the mat, and you're inhaling your left foot up. Take your right arm around like we did in the beginning, and go for your foot. Maybe you could touch your foot. If not, that's fine. You could also use your mat or your block. Let me grab the block. This might be easier for you, whatever works for you. Great stretch on your quads. You could use the block if you choose to. And letting go of your foot, dropping your left foot to the mat. Your right hand comes on the outside, the pinky toe side of your foot. Curl under your toes, straighten your left leg, and we'll draw our right leg back into plank. Exhale into Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, and exhale over into downward facing dog. I hear some kids singing. That sounds like fun. Inhale your right foot up toward the sky, looking between your hands. You could exhale your foot between your hands. If you need to help your foot into that, it's perfectly fine. And this time we are dropping our left heel and we're walking our hands over right away. So you're going to spin your right foot to the side of the mat, and we're coming into like a straddle forward fold. So we're centered, our fingers are facing the sides of the mat, coming into a straddle, and we're dropping our head, the crown of our head, to the mat. From this, we're going to inhale, coming up a little bit, and we will walk our hands over to the left. Take your right foot, your left foot facing the front of the mat, your right foot, bring it in a distance, and we're coming into pyramid. So we take a nice breath and exhale, coming down into pyramid. All kinds of stretches. From pyramid, we take our left toes and facing the side of the mat, our right toes to face the side of the mat. Take your left hand over to your right foot. They're a little closer together than they were in the big straddle. Inhale your right arm up And exhale it over across your left, grabbing both ankles, and head down for the breath. If you need to adjust your feet so you could reach your ankles or your shins, by all means do so. And on the inhale, you're keeping your arms as is, dropping your seat a bit and winding them around so you're coming into the eagle pose where we started. You could take your toes one at a time, not one at a time, your feet one at a time to the sides of the mat. We're coming up. Very nice. Lifting our elbows up as we did earlier. Our legs are straight and coming into the forward fold. Nice. Unwinding your hands and take your right hand to your left ankle. Take your left arm around. Oh, my leg is a little too far apart. I'm going to heel toe over so that I could take my left hand to my right ankle and drop your head for the nice stretch. Stretching various areas of our body, not just one. At the base of your last exhale, you're dropping your seat and you're bringing your arms up and around into eagle. Very nice. And we'll come up into a standing position. Lift our elbows up. And coming down. Their legs straight in eagle pose. Very nice. Unwinding your hands, we're going to walk our hands over to the left. Our left foot faces the top of the mat. We take our right heel up and we're coming into a lunge position. Exhale back into plank. Take a nice inhale and exhale down into Chaturanga. Inhaling up into upward facing dog. And exhale, on the exhale, drop your knees to the mat and your seat comes back to your heels. We're in a child pose. From child pose, we're coming up and back into hero. So we're starting on our heels. This is fine for a while. We could take our heels out to the side, our feet out to the side, and we could sit down, put our seat to the mat, or take your block. And this is hero's pose, and we can rest here. This is perfectly fine. If this is a nice deep stretch for you, that's great. Otherwise, if you're comfortable here, we're going to take a fuller hero's pose, a more full one. Take both blocks to the sides of your mat, and your forearms can come down on the blocks. This could be a really nice stretch for you. You could try. Without the blocks, you could try. And if you want, you could come all the way down into full hero. We'll just take a couple breaths. If you are in full hero, I want you to take one leg at a time and come over your foot. You can lift your seat a little bit so that your soles are on the mat, your knees are up. If you're in the seated position, same thing. You could take your knees up to the sky, come over top your foot, and we're coming down onto our back. From our back, we are going to do bridge pose and open up our chest at the same time and circle our arms around a little bit, or rotate our cuffs. So we inhale our hips up And our arms up over our head and down. If you want to practice, you could practice doing it in the correct formation. You could take your block. Why don't we all take our blocks and put it between our thighs? And that way our knees are in the same order as our ankles and our feet. And we inhale our hips up and our arms over our heads and down. Inhale our hips up, our arms up over our heads and down. Now you can keep doing that, or you could inhale your hips up, take your hands and clasp under you. Your fingers are interlaced, and you could come to the tops of your arms so that your chest comes up even higher. It's a great chest opener, back opener. And dropping your hips, separating your hands so your hips come down to the mat. You could remove the block. And we're going to windshield our knees to the side, so drop your knees over to the left and to the right, the left and the right. And when they're on the left, pick up your left heel and just place it over top of your right knee. And that pulls it down. Gravity doesn't always pull our knee down, but this is a nice comfortable stretch. Really good on our glutes, we work them. And dropping your left foot to the mat, we'll roll our knees over to the right, pick up your right heel and place it over your left knee. And we're opening up our hips, stretching our glutes. It should feel really nice after doing bridge pose. And dropping the soles of our feet to the mat. We're going to inhale our knees up into our chest, extend your legs. And because we're prepping for bicycle or any activity, seriously, take the palms of your hands to the mat. We'll do a few bicycles. Very nice. We could scissor our feet back and forth. Maybe open and switch over. For a little ab work, because you do use your abs, we're going to come down a bit as we crisscross over and up. And down and up. And down and up. Bending our knees, bringing our heels back to the back of our thighs. We'll take our right leg and cross it over our left, and we're eagle wrapping our legs this time. We did a lot of eagle wrapping our arms. Eagle wrap your legs. Maybe you could take the big toe of your right foot so that it's on your left ankle. Take your arms out to a T. And you can just take your torso maybe a little bit to the right, and you're dropping your knees over to the left, looking over your right shoulder. If this is too deep, by all means, please take your block and you could put your knees on your block. That makes it a tiny bit easier. Otherwise, we're doing a nice spinal stretch. A spinal twist is really good to end the practice this way. You're untwisting your legs, unraveling your legs. Maybe put your back so that it's nice and flat on the mat, and take your left leg right over your right, and you're twisting them around. You're wringing them out together. Your left toe may be on the inside of your right ankle, arms out to a T. You could maybe shimmy your bottom over a little bit to the left as we drop our knees over to the right. And again, you could take your block and place your knees on the block, because this is really an intense spinal twist. Otherwise, you're really good stretching and looking over your left shoulder. And gazing up at the sky. We'll inhale our knees back up. Come to the center of your mat with your back. Unravel your legs. We're coming right up into, well, straightening up our legs, opening them up into a straddle, which we did. Bring the soles of our feet together and gently drop your feet to the mat. The pinky sides of your feet are on the mat. You could take your blocks if you like. If this is comfortable for you, please stay in it. Otherwise, you could take your blocks to support your knees a bit. Getting our bodies ready for Shavasana. Removing our blocks if you were using them. You can straighten one leg at a time, coming into Shavasana. Oh, I think I dropped my water. One leg at a time. And your arms, you could snow angel them down by your sides. The palms are up. Taking a nice nourishing breath for your cells, for every cell in your body. And exhaling. Inhale. And exhale. Final resting pose. Your body is absorbing all it has done. You could begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Maybe make little circles with your ankles and your wrists, coming back to life. How about we inhale both knees up to our chest at the same time. Wrap our arms around our shins. Give ourselves a nice squeeze, forehead to knees. And back down to the mat. You could roll on either side of your body to make your way up into Sukasana, cross-legged position. And arms to heart center. Crisscross your fingers together. Your thumbs are up. And thank you so much for joining us at Amazing Trails Yoga, Cascade Lake Loops Trail, which you could take a little switching trail, a switch trail over to Prospect Rock, the highest point of the Appalachian Trail in New York, which is pretty awesome. I know there's a flag there. We'll take you there sometime. And reach for the stars, Do your best and enjoy the journey. Namaste.